Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear and I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not a subscriber, you could use other people's emotes or just say hi. Or, and here's the thing you could do if you wanted to. You could just be a lurker and hang out and not say anything. I'm going to turn down my brightness a little bit on this light because I'm feeling a little too hot. So we'll do that. Ghost Valve is here. Hello, Ghost Valve. Lashbrook is here. What's up, Lashbrook? Happy to have everybody here. If you're not a subscriber, maybe now would be a great time to do that. You could become a subscriber right now. You would get me to 35 subscribers on the way to 40 subscribers, which is where I would like to be. I'd like to be higher than 40, but I'd like to get at least to 40. So you could do that. You could subscribe or gift a sub to somebody else, random. You could give to somebody in particular. You could also do it anonymously. So I don't know who did it. Lord Crashing just subscribed tier 1, 34 months, saying, "Hey Pat, hope things are going well and have a great stream tonight." Thank you, Lord Crashington. We're gonna hit the old applause there. Thank you very much for resubbing. I believe that you are already counted in the 34. And Lord Crashington wants me to hit the ska button, and I will, and we're going to hear some reggae ska. Excellent use of the organ, an underrated instrument in ska, which of course has its roots in the ska and the reggae side of ska, and not as much in the punk side of ska. You didn't see a lot of organ or keyboard in punk, which is weird because it's a very big piece of equipment. So you'd think that they would like that, but who knows? You hear some piano every now and again, but rarely do you hear that in punk. So the punk's influence in the modern ska punk that we know today, you certainly don't hear much organ in there. But thank you very much for being here and appreciate you being here, Lord Crashington. I appreciate everybody being here. I hope you're all doing well and you're ready for a good night of model kit building and conversation. Those are the two things that are going to happen tonight. We have the RX-78-2 that we are working on. This is this particular kit is the 2015 version of the RX-72, and it is a co-sponsorship deal thing with the Paralympic Games. There was an Olympic Games version, and this is the Paralympic Games version. It was released in 2021, and it looks snazzy. It looks neat. The color scheme I think is particularly really nice. I love the two-tone red, the kind of dark maroon, and the regular vibrant red that you would find on your traditional main-ass, old-ass Gundam. And yeah, it is just cool looking kit, and we will get to that. It's got a cool stand right here, a white stand that we will be putting a sticker on. Aristophan is here, rocking in with that tier 2 emote. Thank you, Aristophan, the me as a Death Scythe emote. Very happy to see you. Welcome, everybody. We are going to get going in a moment or two. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to drop my quality of this. Yeah, for some reason, my preview keeps, timing out, and I don't like that. I like to be able to see how I'm looking on the stream. It's good. Even if there's a delay between that, it's still good. Tonight, what can we expect? We'll get into some wrestle talk. There was a premium live event last night, and it is a good show that will be forgotten by the end of the year. When people talk about their favorite matches or events, they will not remember WrestleMania Backlash, the backlash to WrestleMania. We'll talk. We got some manga. It's Manga Monday. We got some anime talk to chat about, and some camera stuff. We'll probably open with that. I'm going to reply to my tweet, see if we can get a few more friends to join us tonight. Because that is always nice to have folks join. And we did receive a follower bump thanks to being on the Nextlander bonus pod, the Patreon exclusive pod, and also we got a little bit of bump from Plamo Weekender. So both those things were fantastic, and I'm hoping that continues, and we have a few friends joining us in the future, since we did get at least I got a follower bump of quite a few, and I'm hoping that converts to some viewers, because viewers are great. You all are great. Viewers that we don't have at the moment are also great. Before we get into camera stuff, let's go to the overhead here. And this should be fine. I did have to readjust some stuff because I took down this camera and this camera here. I had to take both of those off to... actually, we have the wrong thing set up. That's the next kit that we're working on. The Black Rider. In the future, you will see that kit right over there. The Black Rider. That is the next kit that won my $10 patrons poll. So that'll be the next thing I build. Right now we're gonna start working on the feet there. But so we can just talk about that now. Camera stuff. I have tested my what is the actual name of it? I have the name of the camera. It's a Panasonic. The Panasonic HC-V770. I tested it. The capture device, USB capture thing for HDMI, works, but the cable itself is not as long as I would need from the cable that comes out of the camera for where I would like to place it, which is pretty high above, shooting down like this is shooting down. I should get into working as we're talking. I would like that to be above my third monitor, not in front of my third monitor. This camera right here is currently in front of the third. I've said currently twice there. I just realized is at the moment in front of and obscures some of my third monitor. And I'd much rather have it be above the third monitor because it has incredible zoom, and it would still be close enough for me to actually physically reach it from seated to hit the manual zoom on it. So that is the best of both worlds. Would be that. But right now, I don't have a long enough HDMI cable. Not HDMI, sorry. I have my camera. It has its own proprietary 2 HDMI adapter. And then I plug the HDMI end of that adapter to a HDMI to USB 3.0 adapter, basically, cable. That cable is not that long. I should have noticed that it wasn't that long when I ordered it. So what I need is a USB extender. I'm going to buy one anyway. I put it on my wish list. If you want to purchase it for me, you could. But at some point, I will just purchase it for myself because it is not that expensive. But I'm going to get that. And then what I did put on my wish list, which is expensive and something I don't want to pay for right now myself, and I will probably at some point, once I get some payments of some other things done, is I do have a better camera stand than the current camera setup that I have. I have this like clamp thing that goes to a tripod hookup, and it works perfectly fine for a webcam, but a camcorder weighs a lot more than a webcam, and I'm not confident that this thing, which is one of like the earliest purchases I made after I got like my webcam, my first mic, headset mic, and all that, I then upgraded into this arm because it was a better idea than having than just using a tripod. And it was easier to set up because I could just attach it to a monitor instead of having to set up a tripod over my monitor and have it point down. This was a lot easier. So that is currently what I'm using, and that will eventually need to be an upgrade. For now, I don't mind. Also, what I don't want is for the arm to that I currently have to eventually give out, and I think if it gave out, it would just bend and swing the camera. But if it did collapse, then the camera would just fall onto my table. And I don't want that to fucking happen. That would be bad. So those are purchases. Now, I have done the research on the camera. I got it set up so there won't be any display stuff that you have to worry about. It will just output a signal that is fine and nothing to worry about. I have figured out how to turn off autofocus so that it doesn't constantly do the autofocus like bouncy thing as I move my arms, because I would, of course, be constantly moving my arms. And the zoom on this thing is so nice compared to the zoom on this webcam, which is all in software. And literally the best way to zoom at this point, if I wanted to zoom in any more than I have here, I have to physically move the camera down. But if I move the camera down, it gets in the shot of this camera, the camera for me, and where I have that set up. So I can't physically lower my current camera down any more than it is. And this is literally the solution, is to switch over to my camcorder. I have a camcorder mostly for filming panels and occasional sketches. I would sometimes, before I got more comfortable with OBS, I would film stuff and then just do some editing. I would film things for promos for League of Heels and some other comedy-ish things. And I would certainly go back to that in a heartbeat. I don't currently have an actual tripod around here, so I would have to, figure that out, but it's not too hard. I decided not to travel with a tripod. I have a little tiny one, but it is not suitable. It's a desk-mounted one. It's very nice because it's a little expands, but you can just hold it, and it's nice for with an adapter for my iPhone for blogging or vlogging, I should say, which I don't do that often, but have on occasion done. Anything else about it? I would love the idea of being able to zoom in more, and having a better picture would be nice. Some people had mentioned, well, Pat, why don't you just use that camcorder for you if it looks nice? And to which I reply, this fucking webcam looks fine for me. I'm small on this picture. When I'm over here, there's more of me. And it would probably be better to have this camcorder going, my Panasonic, than the webcam, the Logitech webcam that I have. But in reality, the thing I care more about is I'd like you to see what I'm doing down here. I think that should be the priority over anything else. And I'm jealous when I see people just go like, reach up and touch a thing and suddenly they're zooming in. That just rules. And I don't get that. So I want that. So I'm experimenting. Also, this USB thing, if I don't end up using it for streaming, I can very easily set up that camera as a webcam and just use it for like Zoom meetings and such, because it would be better than the webcam I currently have. So I could set that up. I haven't done the time test yet. That's the one thing I haven't done yet. I haven't set it up for 2 hours to see if it becomes a problem. Because I wouldn't want that, right? I wouldn't want to do all this work, get it all set up, and then have it like clunk out at me an hour into a stream. So I'd have to do like proper testing. But I want to here's the thing. I am always happy to stream. I like model kit building. I like hanging with all with you. I like talking about stuff I'm interested in. But I am sometimes worried that I am not excited about the concept of streaming. The reality of streaming, still excited about. But the concept of like putting a stream together and going through all that and seeing if people are showing up and thinking about my Wednesday streams and all that, I'm not always as psyched about that as I should be. So the idea that I could have like, something cool to think about, like setting up and changing some stuff around and improving my streams, that sounds cool. And that is the thing I can get excited about. When I refreshed this with the new border and kind of worked in OBS, when I got my stream deck and I started incorporating sound effects, so at any time I can just hit a flush noise anytime I want. Like, those are small little things that do excite me. They do get me interested in what I'm doing here, and do like they are just like, oh yeah, I got this new toy and now I can play around with that. It's look, I don't have the money to be a gearhead, but I am a fan of tech bullshit. I don't have the casual money to really support that, but it is there and it is true. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some improvements in 2022. Look forward to them, I guess. Other things to talk about. Let's talk about WrestleMania Backlash. This is the first WWE premium live event, because they don't call them pay-per-views finally, because they're not just on pay-per-view. They're premium live events. And let's talk about this one. So this was the first one after WrestleMania. It was mostly WrestleMania rematches. And it was fine. I would describe the whole event as totally okay. Some of the matches were very good. Some of them felt like rehashes of WrestleMania. Didn't they just have a regular pay-per-view called Backlash? Did they just give it the WrestleMania branding to make it seem important? So they used to have a Backlash pay-per-view, and then they stopped having it for a long time, and then they brought it back as this. So this is them reusing the Backlash name for what is a way to say WrestleMania more in a year. Because, and I actually, look, Ashton, I actually think this makes a lot of sense. WrestleMania brings in new eyes, and it brings in lapsed eyes. So why not ride that momentum? If you just saw WrestleMania, which this year was a good WrestleMania, you might think, oh, I had fun at WrestleMania. Oh, this is more WrestleMania? Okay, I'll check that out. Now, some of the things you may have loved about WrestleMania weren't in this pay-per-view, and there was some new stuff in it. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll go down the card. There was no pre-show match. They stopped doing matches during the pre-show, which I think is a mistake, because I think that's fun. The whole crowd isn't there, but it's nice for the crowd that does come early. So we didn't get any pre-show exhibitions. We did get Cody Rhodes in the opening match against Seth freaking Rollins. That's right. His nickname is Freakin', and they say it all the fucking time now. That is a thing that's happened the last couple years in WWE that I really dislike is, like, you can just say Randy Orton. You don't have to say the Viper Randy Orton. You don't have to say the phenomenal AJ Styles. You can just say AJ Styles, and once in a while you go like, well, the phenomenal one, you can just say that. But instead, they now like put these monikers on some people and just say them over and over again. My assumption being so they can sell more merch with that name on there. Do you still have the burn it down intro? Yeah. I mean, Seth Rollins is doing great work. He is just, I would describe Seth Rollins' current persona as somebody who really likes the Joker, the movie The Joker. That's what he's doing. He's not doing the Joker. He's doing an impression of someone who identifies with the Joker as a hero. And it is fantastic what he is currently doing. This persona, his current incarnation of Seth Rollins is great. It is very fun. He fought Cody Rhodes. It was a good fight. Cody did cheat to win, which I like because I'll get that in a minute. But it was more that Seth was trying to cheat with the old grab the tights in a and hold on to the tights as you're pinning someone, and then Cody reversed it and used it, which was a nice juxtaposition because the theme of the match was that, well, see, Seth didn't know he was facing Cody at WrestleMania. It was a surprise opponent. Mystery opponent, I should say. So, but now he's been able to scout him, and he knew they were going to fight. So the match was a lot of Seth Rollins countering Cody Rhodes' moves, which was a fun idea, so that then instead of worrying about the counters, Cody Rhodes just did what Seth Rollins did and won. And I think that's a fun way. Good opening. The audience will eventually turn on Cody Rhodes because he is not a likable person, and he will... The WWE is more forgiving of a "We Love America" as a gimmick than I think other promotions are, but eventually this shtick of the homecoming will kind of fade and he will have to turn heel, and I think that'll be fine because Cody Rhodes works very good as a heel. Like when Batman faces Superman with time to prepare. Yes, that was kind of the idea Lord Crescent did. Like, Seth Rollins has him scouted. That was like the idea. It's like, oh no, he knows what he's going to do. But he didn't. Also, if Seth Rollins is someone who loves the Joker, Cody Rhodes' gimmick is still somebody that watched The Boys and doesn't understand that it's satire. Or someone that like read The Authority and thought that it was just like cool and there was nothing to be said about it. That it had no point. It was just some cool people being cool. And that's, yeah. So, that match was fine as an opener. The next match, it was basically like a make good for WrestleMania because it was almost with MVP in his corner versus the almighty Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley beat Omos at WrestleMania and shouldn't have, because when you're trying to build a monster, it does not make sense to have him lose to someone who basically lost the title without even defending it. Now, Bobby Lashley was hurt when he lost his title, but still, he lost it like by disqualification, basically. So him winning WrestleMania didn't make any sense. Almost winning tonight or last night did make sense. Not the best match. Nothing to write home about. I am less interested in big giant men. What hit good if those big giant men can't wrestle well or much at all. And I know that's because I don't see a lot of live wrestling these days. It's been quite a while. It's probably been since 2019 since I saw my last wrestling match in person. But even then, like, the real thing is, the thing we forget is, wrestlers are tall anyway. Wrestlers are big and tall. The ones that you don't think are big and tall are big and tall. So, but because there are like 7 foot something giants, we kind of forget that, like, oh no, all these other people are over 6 feet tall and huge. It's fine. But yeah, a giant person has never been like a selling point for me for like get interested in this wrestler. Unless there's someone like Keith Lee, who is a big man that can fucking move. Or Samoa Joe, who is a big man that can fucking move and also is a scary looking individual. Samoa Joe walks with a confidence that he is never in trouble. That is a man that I hope will never ever be mad at me, because Samoa Joe walks around with the aura and the presence of someone that has never gone, uh-oh, and has always gone, oh, yeah, all right. And so, like, that is a big man, like, hell yeah, sure. I'm all for it. But if it's just like, yeah, he's 7'3" and moves very slowly. Okay. He's got giant arms that don't look like he's actually hitting anyone because he doesn't know how to do this. I'm like, all right. So I don't need Omos to win. I don't need Omos, I guess, is what I'm saying. I just, in particular, don't particularly need this gentleman. I'm sure he's lovely, but I just don't need him around. Edge defeated AJ Styles in a Judgment Day, with the help of the newest member of the Judgment Day faction. One thing I want to say about Edge is so goddamn smart. This dude's back. People were fucking psyched about him. He turned heel, and people were like, oh, I don't want to boo Edge. What did he do? To cement his heel status, he took away his theme song and changed his theme song. Wrestlers don't want to do that. They want that song that when it hits, you know what it is. But here's the thing. People want to cheer. When they hear, You Think You Know Me, and then like, bum, 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 and then just like music hits, they want to sing along. So he took that away and got different spooky music because he's doing some spooky bullshit. And he got Damian Priest, who's a guy who like was a face and people did like, but Damian Priest has like Damian Priest has a vibe like he is definitely hitting on your girlfriend at the bar. Like you can't get up to pee if Damian Priest is there. Like you gotta lock in with your partner that whole time. You know, I shouldn't have said girlfriend. I should have said partner there. But yeah, you can't leave your partner alone in a bar if Damian Priest is there. That's the vibe this dude just has all the time. So the idea that like he's a heel, I'm like, sure. And like learning from Edge, fuck yeah. Totally on board for it. That guy's got a lot to teach, and it's great for them. There's a difference between Hollywood Hogan's theme and his Hulk Hogan theme for a reason. Yes. Yeah, you want to hear this like, you know, the New World Order theme or the Voodoo Child, the fake Voodoo Child theme, because you're like, you just stole a Jimi Hendrix song? Ugh. Instead of the I'm a Real American, where you're like, hell yeah, this wasn't even your song originally. Someone else used it, and then they had started using it for you. Hell yeah. And then, as a joke on you, they started playing it for the Stooges. But those Stooges became beloved, and so it worked out fine. But yeah, so there's a new member of Edge's stable. Rhea Ripley dyed her hair black. She had already kind of turned heel anyway and broke up a pretty good tag team that could have gone some places. But that's fine. I honestly would have also liked if Liv Morgan had turned heel with her. We're not winning these tag belts. All right, fine. And Liv Morgan, here's the real thing. Damian Priest can learn a lot from Edge, and it works great. Rhea Ripley is a young wrestler that does not need Edge. She will benefit from it, but she can talk on the mic. The crowd loves her. She can be a face. She can be a kick-ass heel. She really doesn't need this. But like Liv Morgan could use it. Liv Morgan is like kind of getting some babyface fire and certainly has improved in the ring, but like definitely could use the rub of an experienced like person, you know, on the mic and you know, kind of guiding. That would be great for Liv, and maybe we will see it. I think it would be great. It is very rare to have a faction that has men and women in it, and there be multiple women and not just like a lady. So I think that would be cool. Unless they're like multiple valets. Like there was a period where, like Macho Man had like several ladies with him, which was towards the end. That was just adding to his presentation because he could not go in the ring as much. Let's see. Okay, so the only title defense on the whole pay-per-view. I think this is the record for the least amount of title defenses on a pay-per-view. One, SmackDown Women's Championship I Quit match. Meaning there's no pinfalls. Submissions, you know, or whatever you have to do, no tapping out. You have to say, I quit. Now, of course, it could be an application of a submission, or you could drop a piece of heavy equipment on them until they say, I quit. There's been various ways to do the I quit match. It usually is a submission match. Ronda Rousey defeated Charlotte Flair for the championship, and they have said that Charlotte got hurt in the match because she is taking some time off, which I think is fine. I don't mind. I want Charlotte in a program with like a really squeaky clean baby face, like a real fire, like the audience can get behind that really wants to see her, you know, defeat Charlotte Flair. But I also don't want to boo Ronda, because here's the thing. 1, transphobe. 2, sucks in general, beyond the fact that she's a transphobe. 3, not likable on the microphone. And 4, she's so mad that people are mad at her and don't want her back that she acts like a heel. She's like hostile. She cuts hostile promos. And it's just like, well, she doesn't want to be a face, so stop like, I can't root for someone. I want to root for someone against Charlotte Flair, the heel, but you can't expect me to root for someone that is like acting like an asshole. Like, I don't know what you want from me. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for me to root for Ronda because she fucking sucks. And I don't like her as a performer. So I don't want to see her in the ring. So I don't love it that she's champion. I hope she turns heel. I hope she is a heel champion and we get a babyface chasing her. And not Charlotte in a couple months coming back as a babyface because I don't think that's going to work. But I don't know. The match itself was fine. Oh, I should say, I watched all of this. I watched all of this in a Discord with some people, while one of the members, the person that put together Discord, was live streaming her reactions. So, like, the people that were watching her stream didn't hear, like, they heard like a weird version of the audio, but they had to watch along if they wanted to. So it was very fun to like watch a big review and then also hear my friend's commentary. It was a strange experience, but it was fun. Okay, next thing that happened. Madcap Moss defeated Happy Corbin. Baron Corbin is a person that I did not like as a wrestler until he became Sad Corbin. They made this dude a sad sack person that like he was like he had like lost a lot of money and he was having problems at home and he was like he constantly just was like ruining his shirts and then asking about how to like get his shirts cleaned. There was one time where Kevin Owens, who was a face at the time, gave him some money because he felt bad, and then immediately he got beat up by other heels and they took his money. And it was just like, and then he also at one point, Shotzi Blackheart had a miniature tank, like Tank Girl style. She's a little bit like Tank Girl. Has a miniature tank that shoots like a big foam dart. And he got shot in the nuts with that big foam dart off of a tank. Sad Corbin was great. And then he won either money in Vegas or Bitcoin. I can't remember. But he got money and now he's Happy Corbin. But now he's a heel because he's happy. Anyway, his dumb friend named Ridge Holland, who basically is or not Ridge Holland. Sorry, that's another dumb guy. Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss's wrestling gimmick is that he tells bad jokes and he's supposed to dress kind of like a clown, not like an actual clown, but like clownish. So he wears red shorts, and then he wears like a white belt, and then he has yellow suspenders. So he's kind of like ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise. But mostly he looks like he's a stripper pretending to be a firefighter. Like all he needs is a hat and he would just be a firefighter. Stripper. Because he doesn't have a shirt. We did one leg, by the way. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. It's basically identical, but there's some subtle differences. So we'll just do the same thing we just did. There are no tricks to this one. Fighting clown. He is a little bit like a fighting clown. So anyway, Baron turned on Madcap. Madcap winning is good. He's got a lot of energy. And his jokes, here's the thing. Sometimes his jokes aren't bad. There was a promo in the pre-show where he was asked to tell a joke. And he said, I don't have time for jokes. Which was good. He got focused. He was ready to go. I thought that was good. I do think that his outfit is ridiculous, but it is on purpose, and so fine. Anyway, he beat Happy Corbin. That's good. Happy Corbin should keep losing until he becomes sad again, and then he should start winning. And then the main event, the 6-man tag match. The kind of thing you would normally see at house shows, shows that are not filmed for broadcast. They're like just in like a town on like a Sunday, in smaller arenas, and that's kind of like sometimes how they try out some stuff that you'll later see on the main storylines. They see how people work together and all that. They test out some stuff, because it's just like, hey, let's take the tag teams from Raw, and so Lord Crashes In. Basically, Baron Corbin became Sad Corbin, and he was like, don't say that. That's fine. But then he became, Happy Corbin. It was when he got money. He was just like, he's Happy Corbin. So it basically just changes on like what kind of vibe he is in. Not like day to day, but in general. Like if he loses his money again, he'll be Sad Corbin. But he's Happy Corbin now because he's got that money. But yeah, this is a 6-man tag. We got the Raw Tag Team Champions, which is Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, RK Bro. Matt Riddle, I do not like. I do not enjoy. Randy Orton, most of the time can give or take. Would like to know where his wife was on January 6th. And they tagged with Drew McIntyre to take on the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, and their cousin, the undisputed champion, the Universal Champion, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, who has the Raw and SmackDown titles at the same time, Roman Reigns. They're cousins, don't you know? But yeah, so the Bloodline took on a tag team of kind of mixed match energy and their friend Drew McIntyre, whose whole deal is that he is Scottish and carries a sword to the ring. And they wrestled in a match that doesn't matter. And the outcome doesn't matter. Now, at one point, they teased us with, well, because he combined the titles, the Usos should head over to Raw and win the Raw tag team titles and unify the tag team titles. And it looked like that's what it was going to be. And then it became the 6-man, and they're like, actually, no, we're not going to do that. But that's like basically the go over there and get them was how they introduced the idea that these 6 people would wrestle. But it did feel like, oh, this is going to be a unification. It is a Gundam, sir. Sir, we are building a Gundam. The Paralympic Games version to promote the Tokyo 2021 Olympics. This is the Paralympic Games version, the color scheme. Lastwick says, I remember Randy having a really awakening during BLM protests and thought he was an all right dude. So here's the thing with Randy Orton. A friend of mine used to have a days since Randy Orton fucked up thing going on Twitter. Because Randy Orton, like, sometimes you're like, all right, Randy. Okay, Randy. Yeah, all right. Sure. And then sometimes you're like, Randy, what the fuck? What's going on with you, man? What's up? I think Randy Orton is definitely like the kind of person that responds to the vibe around him and the people around him. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. But also, at a certain point, those people need to, like, figure their shit out and stop, like, just reacting to other people. Anyway, this was the end of the pay-per-view, premium live event, and it was an okay match, but, like, didn't mean anything. It wasn't for any titles. It wasn't for any bragging rights. I guess if Drew had won, it would have, like, if he had gotten the pin, maybe he would have been like, okay, well, now I should be going after Roman Reigns. I should be the number 1 contender. But not really. It didn't do anything. So, that's kind of my feeling on it. I think the Usos with Randy Orton and Matt Riddle are fine. They work fine together, but, I could see there being a good idea for combining those tag divisions and just making it a floating champions. But the thing is, Raw and SmackDown have different deals with different cable providers who probably have different opinions on that. And like the floating belt probably isn't the same as having like all of our championships here in one place. So that is my guess, is that they are not thrilled with that idea. But I don't know. Anyway, that's wrestling. I watched it. What is that? It was a kind of an odd way to watch it for me. Just like being in a Discord, watching it with people, and then also like hearing in my ear a friend of mine stream, and then referencing the stream, and then being like, hey, if people want to jump on voice, that's cool. And then also it being weird when anytime any of us did that, and just so we all just didn't do it. It was like we come in and it'd be like, oh, hey, this thing happened. And then they'd be like, okay. Oh, I'm clearly interrupting something. You invited me. Anywho, do I have other stuff I want to talk about? I don't know. I made mac and cheese that was really good. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Made mac and cheese today in the style of baked macaroni and cheese, which is not my preferred. I prefer making mac and cheese like stovetop mac and cheese. I prefer that much more over the baked variety of the mac and cheese. Your oven bake, because I think it is more gooey if done in the stovetop. But I also understand why people like breadcrumbs on the top, and they go for that method. It's just not my thing. To each their own. But my mom, it prefers the baked in an oven method, so that's what we had. And it turned out good. The mac and cheese wasn't embargoed. You can tell us his last work. Yeah. No embargo on the mac and cheese. I can definitely talk about that. Yes, I did. I guess I did make it kind of sound like I was breaking embargo or something by just talking about what I ate. But yeah. It was good. That was fun. It's not Mother's Day, but my dad made a meatloaf yesterday for Mother's Day. This is the idea that my mom doesn't have to like worry about it. And my dad, look, here's the thing. Do I think my dad's meatloaf is better than mine? No. Do I think it's good? Yes. That's all there is to it. Mainly because he uses the pre-shredded, like the bag of shredded cheese, and he puts it on top instead of grating your own cheese and then mixing it in. And then I don't do the cheese on top because also you may know this, that when you get the shredded, like the bag of shredded cheese, an unfortunate element of that is that it doesn't like melt. It just like hardens and it becomes like a crust, because that cheese has preservatives in it, so that it doesn't go bad. And that does okay mixed in things. It doesn't really do well on top of things. Like you wouldn't want to make a grilled cheese with that kind of cheese. It just doesn't work great. So I use, I just grate myself some cheese and then mix it in. That's probably the big difference between our two things. I also probably put more garlic in mine than my dad does. Usually garlic paste or garlic salt, depending on what I have. But yeah, I think that's probably another big difference between the two of us. And yeah, it was a good couple meals the last couple days. So that's been good. Going to a barbecue tomorrow. I don't expect that I will be able to participate in the barbecuing, or really it's going to be grilling. We're going to be grilling, probably not actual barbecuing. But I don't imagine, because it's not my house. So even if I do offer to help out, probably won't. One nice thing is, so this is where I'm at now. It is close friends of my parents, right? And so I said, is this a big party of theirs, or like, move this away, or a small party? And then I heard, oh no, it's just us, them, and then another couple. And that other couple are also close friends with my parents. And that is great. Because sometimes these fine folks, these are the people, if you've ever seen this on Twitter, where sometimes I will take a photo of me in a half bathroom that is like, the bathroom was like built in to what used to be a closet, like, and there are stairs, and it's just this like really tight swoop, and like my head is like touching the ceiling, and it's just like, it is, they put a half bath in a place that like was probably already a very tiny closet. That is that house. The fine folks like them. But they have neighbors who I don't want to talk to. And like, there's like a holiday party, and it's just like, it's this weird thing where they're like people that grew up in New York and now want to tell me how full of crime New York is. And I'm like, it's definitely not as much as was you. Like, you were there when the subway was terrible, and the subway is differently terrible, but it was terrible for very different reasons. It was like, no. And they were trying to tell me about my mayor, and I was like, oh, no, I don't like that guy. And I literally said to one person eventually, I was like, I'm surprised you don't like him. I mean, he's just, it's like, it's like, well, the last mayor made the mistake of trying to say no to the police, and they threatened his kids. So this mayor loves the cops and isn't taking any chances, which is a real thing with Bloomberg. Bloomberg was not a good mayor by any chance. This is a rich man who got to be mayor. But he did at one point not say positive. It's not that he said anything negative about the police. He just didn't abundantly defend them. And the New York City Police Department, the police, responded by basically being like, hey, we protect your kids at their school. They just straight up threatened his kids. So it's just like one of these, you're like, all right, well, there goes any accountability for the New York Police Department. And they also, he bent over backwards to be as like welcoming as he could, and they still hated him. They still were like, goddamn Bloomberg. And it's just like, okay, well, all right, sure. So now we got a mayor in New York that, is a former police officer, and his solution to all problems is to give more money to the police, which is great, he said sarcastically. So anyway, tomorrow, the event I'm going to will just be 3 couples and myself, and that's the best way. The fact that the NYPD has an international presence is wild. 100%. It is unbelievably ridiculous how much, like, the fact that, so much. The fact that, like, the NYPD has assault rifles. They just have assault rifles. They just stand in Penn Station with assault rifles and dogs. It's just theater. It's just fucking theater. Like, sure. There's a lot about that. I mean, I've talked about this before on this stream. The fact that multiple people get paid by the New York Police Department to make sure that people are within the law about their urban beehives. Because here's the deal. There's been some ordinance changed, and people could start keeping beehives on rooftops. But they had to have like a license to do that, right? And they had to have like maintenance. They had to like go in with rules and all this stuff, right? Well, someone's got to make sure that people are doing that right. You would assume there should be somebody who does that. Now, I don't know why that became a cop, but it did. There was a cop, and their job was to check licenses and go around and make sure everybody's doing a good job. But here's the thing. If you are a department in the New York City Police Department, you got to have a budget, and you got to spend that budget. You cannot have a balance. So you got to buy equipment. And also, you got to have raises. You got to increase the budget. So suddenly, this thing that should not be a cop's jurisdiction at all becomes a department with a lot of people. And like different procedures and overlapping. And also, I should say, as this was happening, the number of beehives went down because it was a fucking hassle and not worth it. And people were just like, I am tired of this. So people were like doing it less because of all of the overreach from the police department. Because it should just be a 311 thing. And it should be like part of the park system or something. It should not be a cop thing. But it became this whole thing with this like huge budget and all these problems simply because, well, someone's got it. Once you put it involved with the police, then it becomes a budget thing, and budgets don't go down, they only increase. Unbelievable. Really fucking annoying. I do miss my city. I do miss New York. There's a lot of fucking bullshit involved in it that I don't really miss, but I do also, still miss like the people and the scene and, that kind of shit. I do have a lot of love left for New York, and I would like to get back. I mean, look, I'm going back there for a little while, probably in August, to kind of hit the pavement, meet with some people, try to like get some stuff going, see some people that I just want to see, but also see some people that like might have work for me, and me being there in person is better than me, than a Zoom call. And also I'm going to go to my storage unit. I'm going to swap out some shirts and come home with some new shirts, or more likely, I'm not going to bring, I'm just going to like throw out some shirts here and take some more from my collection and bring them. And then also all my League of Heels stuff, because while I don't think I'm going to be doing a League of Heels show in 2022, my assumption is I will do a League of Heels show before I move back to New York. And if not, that's fine. But also, I should know where I should like have eyes on the League of Heels belt instead of it being in a storage unit. I should have taken that stuff down with me when that happened, but I didn't know how long I would be out of New York. So didn't at the time. Regrets. We're going to take a pause for the cause in a couple minutes. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel, go through all that rigmarole and all of that stuff. Who officially has the belt? So, our current winner is, our current belt holder is Johnny Cashinova, John Drake, although he was, in the plot that will be retconned. Currently, the story was Johnny Cashinova won the belt and then got arrested because Dr. Tracksuit was an undercover cop, and everyone else in League of Heels, everyone else at any point in League of Heels was also an undercover cop, and it was all a sting operation. And that will be retconned. Also, theoretically, I can hang on the wall. You're not wrong, Lashbrook. Theoretically, I guess in lore, our one show that we did at PAX Australia, because of the time difference, still hasn't happened yet, which is a very funny joke that I love a lot. But we could say, we're going to do a multiverse that I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but my assumption is that there will be some sort of multiverse rewrite of the cosmos, or the very least, we will just forget the last moments of that show and just say, nah, we didn't do that. Dr. Tracksuit is either a dentist, or he is a person that makes things happen and, whatever. And Johnny Cashinova could still be on trial, because the trial of Johnny Cashinova is a very funny idea for a pay-per-view or for a thing. He redistributed the wealth. Yes. Austin winning the bet at one point turned into jewelry. Yes. Well, also, here was the thing. That the original League of Heels belt is just a wrestling belt, a replica WWE belt owned by Alex Navarro, because he wanted to have a championship belt to walk around with. So we just used his. There are only 2 official belts in League of Heels. because that one was recognized as League of Heels belt, and then it was melted down because other people shouldn't have his belt, and he shouldn't have to keep bringing it to shows. And then redistributed, and then there was a new belt, which is our current League of Heels championship. And then I introduced the Jeff Green Memorial Belt, which is a karate or martial arts green belt. And Felix Kramer is our current champion. And what was great is when he won, Felix would love you to recognize the he/him pronouns that Felix is currently and forevermore and retroactively has always used. As a fine gentleman that Felix Kramer is. Felix won that belt and then immediately recognized that meant that he would have to do another show, which is hilarious to me because at that point when he agreed to do a thing where the winner was going to win a belt, he did not recognize that would be a thing that he would have to do, which is very funny to me because I was like, ha ha ha, I'll see you soon. Has not defended that title, will at some point. Got to start the next show with a trial in some terrible wrestling game against the League of Heels DA. Yeah, my thought was another way to do one of those things, like because we did Quiplash, would to be have like to have a jury of his peers and then be like, well, everyone here is a juror. Why don't you play Quiplash 3, a League of Heels themed Quiplash 3? It'll probably be wrestling themed or whatever. That is my way. That is one of those. This is an idea that probably won't happen. That's why I'm saying it out loud. But that is an idea, something like that, having a jury of his peers and then making them do that. Also, Judge D. Lazy just kind of writes itself. Just having, we've already kind of had him act like a judge before. He granted at some point D. Lazy did grant wishes. So having D. Lazy be a judge is just kind of writes itself there. Well, that's one way it could have happened. Yes. Last week, basically, we're going to do one of two things with the ending of the very last League of Heels show that we had before the next one. Is one, ignore it, pretend it didn't happen. And two, retcon it. Say like, oh, a thing happened now that doesn't happen anymore. The multiverse. Someone travels from an alternate timeline and rewrote our timeline. The witch said no more mutants, no more cops, and then it disappeared, and we don't have it anymore. We'll just have Wanda wish it away. So that's another thing that we could do. There's a lot of things we could do with it. I do also think that we could just not mention it, and then if anyone brings it up, then all the announcers go, "That's it." I do not remember that happening. As far as I know, none of that happened. But we'll figure that out. All right. We're going to take a pause for the cause, folks. We don't have a lot of friends here tonight, which is okay. We're small but mighty. We got plenty of people here and that are having a good time, and that's what's most important. And if you're not having a good time, that's okay. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being here and having a not so great time. That's also nice of you. If you are currently a subscriber, let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the mode in chat. I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes about ways you can support the channel. That is the easiest way. All the things I'll talk about here are optional. You don't have to do it, but if you wanted to, it'd be great. But being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here. Through Cash Money, using your credit card or or debit or whatever for $5 a month, or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime, you can link that with your Twitch. You get a token. You can use that token for anybody, but use it for me because I'm the one talking to you right now. Subscribing again, very easy way to support what I do here. We are currently at 34 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I would love to be at 40 subscribers. If you want to subscribe, if you used to subscribe, get back into it. Jump on board. If you've been gifted a sub before, pay it forward. Give somebody else a sub. You could join the gift sub leaderboard. Aristophan, who has gifted something like high 80 amount of gift subs, which is a ridiculous number, is the top of our gift sub leaderboard with one gifted sub. So you can give sub to somebody in the community anonymously, or let people know. Someone in particular, or just in general, you could do that. Bits and coins also always appreciated if you'd like to do that. But there are other ways that don't involve jumping into, paying money through Twitch, which I get why you wouldn't want to do that. Join my Patreon. I am still in the process of getting my tax information straightened out with Patreon so that they will pay me on June 1st. But right now, if you want to join my Patreon, you can at the $1, $3, $5, or $10 tier. Different rewards for different tiers. I'm pretty damn active on Patreon, making sure that people get their rewards and get their voice heard and know my schedule and all that. I try to be pretty active with it. So I would love for you to take a look at it and consider if you haven't already. YouTube.com/PatBear is my YouTube. Please subscribe. Would love to see my subscription numbers go up. It's been pretty stagnant over there, which is okay. But I just put up a video today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I put up a video every other Monday and every Wednesday, and then occasionally some other times, but those are your promises, because I have a weekly Wednesday series that changes every year. And then I've been doing Pat Bear's Anime Club. Episode 70 went up today. I've done 70 of these, which also includes the live versions of my panels. So check that out, because I think it's like totally worth taking a look at. Pat Bear's Anime Club and that on YouTube. Also with YouTube, I got a membership thing there. You could join. $2 a month. You get my Wednesday video on Tuesday. So you'd see my Wednesday video tomorrow. I filmed it tonight, uploaded it, and then I'll send it out to my patrons at the $5 and $10 level, and my $2 YouTube subscriber members tomorrow. Take a look at that. And then also direct, it's nice having that, because sometimes people are like, Pat, I can't, not that I won't, but I can't support you monthly. I can't do that. And I get that. Direct donation. If you would like to see me build more model kits and you want to help me out financially, you could help me out through Ko-fi or PayPal. Now, everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, through Patreon, and through Twitch, goes into a fund. I keep track of that money very well, meticulously. I take money out of that and I buy model kits. The next kit that I will be building, which I kind of accidentally teased, which is the Black Rider, which is a kit from a video game. It's a premium Bandai kit. I bought that kit thanks to folks that were able to help me out here financially from those funds. Now, the kit I'm working on now, the RX-78-2, that was bought off my Amazon wishlist. I still don't know who bought that, but I appreciate them very much. And if you would like to buy something off my wish list, you can. I will shoot a YouTube video about the thing you bought and show it off, talk about it, thank you, in video format. And then it jumps the queue. It becomes the next thing that I build. Or if I have multiple things off my wish list, my patrons will vote and I'll build all of them. I've got inexpensive things like this little Wolverine mech thing that I just think is cute and is cheap. It's like 140 pieces, but I'll build that. Some small little kits with Pokemon, some more expensive Lego stuff, some more expensive model kits, some very expensive kits that are like, why is this high grade $52? I don't know, but apparently it's pretty rare and has a giant backpack. Very expensive kits, and then some gear. Look, am I going to probably buy this USB 3.0 extension cord myself? Probably. At some point, I'm going to buy that. But if you would like to buy that and help me out, it's $8. You can buy that on Amazon. And I've got some tools in the bottom there, things that would help me out, including the camera mount that would be good for this camcorder I would like to use instead of using the arm that I've had for a very long time and is certainly fine for webcam, but might be stressed under camcorder. I put that on there and some other stuff that are more expensive, but would be things to be nice. The on-air sign I don't need. I do not need that on-air sign. I might take that down, but it would be funny if I had, over here, instead of some of these boxes, I just had an on-air sign. I think that would be very funny. That I would have to, go and turn on before a stream. I think that would be so weird, and I would do it. All right, back to this. Alternative to my Amazon wish list is my Throne wish list. You can jump over on Throne. It's a smaller, more curated list, but you can take a look there. And USA Gundam store, you can buy a gift card there and then send me a DM on Twitter because my DMs are open. Just send me a DM with that gift card code that you get in your email, and I'll buy something. You can be like, hey, Pat, you should buy something from this series, and I'll like see if they have it and pick it up and kind of be like, I'm going to get this with your gift card, or I'm going to use this towards the purchase of this, or something. You could do that. I have a Discord. That's a way to support me for fucking free. Not worry about it. So you could jump in on my Discord. Let's see. I got a couple links to send you, which I will in just a moment. Couple video links that you could and should check out if you want to. New episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club came out today, where I talk about some weird manga. The barrier to entry is way lower with manga than anime, and so some people have made some really weird stuff. I only talked about 6 manga, and I've only read a couple, and the other ones are just, the premise is just so wild. There's other stuff that I should be talking about, right? Like, there's more stuff than just like a horror comic about fish that have metallic legs that walk around and terrify people. Like, that's a weird premise for a manga, even a horror one. If that is a Junji Ito, yes it is. But I talked about 6 of those, and I'm sure I'll do another one because there are way more wacky ones. Did I do the manga about the guy who got isekai'd as a vending machine? No. I did another one where someone is an inanimate object. Because I wanted to include... I didn't want to make it all isekai, because I could do that. Anyway, there's Do You Remembaer? Do you remember about the Mariko Aoki phenomenon? That's the phenomenon where if you're in a... that some people experience where they're in a like large bookstore, like a Barnes and Noble, and they suddenly have to poop. And they didn't before they came in. And when they leave, if they didn't use the bathroom, they're like, oh, I don't have to go anymore. And it's a phenomenon that was written in Book magazine in Japan. And then people were like, yeah, we're going to name it after the girl that wrote this thing. And she was like, I guess. And I talked about that and tried to remember all the facts about it. The one I have for Wednesday, this new one, is a shorty, but I think you'll like it because it's very silly. And the photo that goes along with it, mwah. So check that out. Now we're going to talk about some manga, and then we're going to talk about some anime. Now I should just say right off the bat, I'm waiting until Saturday, and I will talk about 3 episodes from Spy Family. I'm not talking. I said I would talk about Spy Family. I didn't finish the most recent episode that came out on Saturday. I'm behind, and I didn't want to talk about the other episode, so we're not. Instead, I'm going to talk about some manga, and then we'll talk about some anime. So I will talk about Spy Family and talk about 3 fucking episodes of Spy Family on Saturday. I will get caught up, and it sucks because the one on Saturday looked really good, but I will get to it. But first, what I got to do is I got to drink a little water, and then keep working on this model kit. So I'm going to drink a little water, and we'll dramatically change over. Okay. Water. Pretty great. Anyway, time to talk manga, and then talk anime, and then talk like video games or whatever, and whatever you're into, and wrap it up. But first, manga. The first thing we'll talk about, sometimes Nightbot is just like a little slow, and that's weird. And this is one of those times. There's just a delay there. Okay. We're working on the waist now, because we're going to try to body complete this kit. So let's get that together. And I believe there's only 1 sticker involved in this, which is great, because I don't want to deal with more than 1 sticker. So, Villager A wants to save the Villainess no matter what. This is not the same thing as the anime we'll talk about later, which is Trapped in a Dating Sim. It's very similar to that. But there's some big difference. The big difference between that and the anime I'll be talking about later is, in this one, we haven't met the Villainess yet. 8 chapters into this thing. She is referenced in the first chapter, and then not again. She's referenced, but we don't really see her. So, our main character... this is Japanese, by the way. It's a Japanese manga. Our main character wakes up at age 8 from sleeping and goes, oh, I've been reincarnated, and this is based on a mobile dating sim that I used to play. Fuck. Because I'm a villager. I'm just a kid. I wasn't in the... I'm not even like a background character. I don't recognize myself at all. But I know the events of this, and they're like... A bunch of shit's gonna happen, which will lead to a civil war, which will lead to an invasion, and this whole town that I live in, including my mom, who in this world, like, you know, like I still care about her, even if I am reincarnated and have my memories, she'll die too. Okay, well, what's the most important event? Well, the most important event is the Villainess. The prince sides with a commoner and banishes, like, basically like breaks their engagement, and she challenges him to a duel, but no one, or challenges the girl to a duel, and the prince is like, well, I'll accept on her behalf, but no one steps up for her, which is very similar to the Trapped in a Dating Sim that I've been watching. So basically, no one steps up for her, and she has to compete herself, and she loses the duel. And she gets banished, and it's believed that the prince sends assassins after her. She disappears, which starts a chain of events that eventually leads to the downfall of the kingdom. So our dude is like, okay, if I want to prevent this, I have to get to this school in 8 years. When I'm 16, I have to go, because I'm the same age as the prince. I have to be in that school, and I have to be strong enough to defend the Villainess and uncover if there's anything going on with this main girl or whatever. But stop the events, and then also like make sure we're strong enough so that if the invasion does happen, there wasn't a civil war and all that. So he's got to like look out for all this stuff and figure this stuff out here, which is a lot for an 8-year-old, even if he is a reincarnation. And we have not seen, it did not jump. In chapter 2, we are not at the school. And then, like, because you could see that, right? You jump to the school, and then anytime he's in a scrape and it looks bad, we then have, like, the convenient explanation of why it isn't a problem because, you know, when he was 15, he did this, or when he was 11, he did that. No. We're following it. We're following him working for the guild so that he can earn money, so that he can afford things. His knowledge of the game world means he's going to get things that eventually the prince's group that includes like the main character, you know, the girl that everyone is interested in, because of course it's a dating sim game. He knows where all this stuff is, so he can find all these things. Let's see. So like the blessing of the wind god, he gets it. He has an analyze skill through various things. Like he's gotten all these skills. He just got another skill that he shouldn't, like multicasting, I think is the thing he got. Now he's going to get like castless chants or chantless. He can cast spells without having to chant is what the next thing he's going to get. He builds like a VTOL plane that he controls with wind magic, because he got the wind magic so that he could build a single person plane so that he could then eventually get to the top of this tower, because climbing the tower, that's endgame stuff. Crashing through the tower at the top and just getting the reward, that's thinking. So he does that. Now he's going to be like helping some elves who like should be having a problem later, and he should not be hanging out with, but he is suddenly, because some of this is not necessarily going exactly according to plan. I like it. It's a patient thing. You start to get to know him a little bit. And he is getting overpowered, but he still is at this point like a young person. He studied enough to get into this academy. He's going to be there. He's going to go to this academy, and this is his stuff while he's doing before that. Because, you know, he doesn't have any confidants. Nobody knows about it. But he's like not like super overpowered. He's mostly just like making the most of it. And trying to, you know, protect his way of life and protect the people that he cares about. Also, he always thought that the Villainess got a bum rap because she didn't really do anything wrong, because it was her underlings that were bullying this girl. And also, Of course they were. Of course they were bullying this like commoner who is suddenly hanging out with all of these attractive men. They're teens. Of course they were. And also that the main character thing. So that is Villager A wants to save the Villainess no matter what. Which, yeah, I'm excited to see more of it and see how he gets by and figures stuff out with his knowledge of the game world and also his desire to like fucking fix these problems. It's pretty damn good. And again, like I said, I love that it hasn't skipped that he's like taking his time learning all this stuff, and they're really like giving it time. I think that's great. All right, so we got to put a sticker on here, which we're gonna do before we attach these parts because it'll just be easier. So I'm gonna let me try the X-Acto on this. If I have to use the tweezers, I will, but I think I can get by with this X-Acto way. And this is the last of the regular stickers, I believe. Yeah, so just do that. Because then we just have the cool Tokyo stickers to put on at the very end. All right, the other manga I want to talk to you about is the Lazy Swordmaster. This is fairly new. We haven't really gotten so even though there are a lot more chapters of this, I usually wait until there are like 15 chapters of a manhwa, but I don't know if I'm going to keep reading this one, so I feel like I might as well talk about it now. Because the thing is, manhwa come out like, it feels like they come out like weekly, but a lot of the art is like, not every manhwa. I don't want to categorize this as everything, right? But a lot of manhwa, the first like 6 pages are just a rehash of what happened in the previous chapter. And so it doesn't like sometimes not a lot happens. But at least we got the premise. And the premise of this one, I think, is pretty fun. You can tell by the title, we got the Lazy Swordmaster is our main character was the hero of our world, a modern Earth-like world. Maybe it was our world. Was invaded by monsters and demons from another dimension. And he was like prophesized to be like the hero. And that weighs a lot on you. Like everyone saying, well, you're the hero. You are the hero. You got to save everybody. And basically being the hero meant he was the last human left. He died. Everyone else died too. He couldn't save everybody. He couldn't save anybody. He was not the hero, and it weighed on him. Like this demand that he be the hero, that he keep going. Especially the failure of it just fucking ate at him. And on his deathbed, he was like, well, now I don't have to be the hero anymore. And he did die, but of course, this is a story that we're reading, so his death is just the beginning because he is reincarnated in a fantasy world full of magic and swords and abilities. And of course, he had some of that in the regular world. And he's like, oh, I've been reborn. I didn't really want that. Oh no, I'm the son of a family that cares about swords. And they're going to want me to be somebody. And I refuse to be anybody. So his basic thing is like, don't make me hold a sword. I don't want to hold the sword. Don't make me do that. His father has 2 wives. And look, things were going okay. He's got like a butler that thinks he's pretty great. He's got like a maid that looks after him. Like, he's got people in his life that like care about him and it'll be fine. His mother, like, they get along really well. Everything was good. And then his mom gets poisoned. And then assassins come for him. And apparently his stepmother, or his second mother, the second mother, basically they couldn't wait they wanted her son to inherit the family. And even though he would have anyway, because our lazy main character was like not interested in any of that, they didn't want to take any risks because they started trying to eliminate. So our main dude has to fucking murder a lot of people. Some secretly, some he's like, one he can't avoid. He's just like, yeah, I managed to get the drop on them. They underestimated me. Because they're like, oh, well, you've never swung a sword. He's like, yeah, I don't want to, but will. The problem is immediately, his dad now has expectations of him. And they're like, well, now you have to go do some stuff. And he doesn't want to. He really doesn't, because as soon as people start making, having these thoughts about him, he just remembers all of the weight of being a hero that couldn't save anyone. But still loves his mom. He, from the moment he was born in this world, that's the person that's been kindest to him. He still cares about people, so he is going to probably have to take up the sword and do some shit. So I like it. It's an overpowered main character that people tend to overlook because of the reputation he has, because he created that reputation. The guy that was like totally okay with not being the center of attention and didn't want to be, that now is going to be kind of stuck in the limelight a bit because people are going to need him to do some shit. It is a story that I enjoy, and like I said, I think I'm not sure if I'm going to keep up with it. I'm going to keep track of it. I'm going to keep my eye on it. It could be a thing where eventually, like, either the idea that he's keeping this a secret just becomes more and more ridiculous, or the idea that, like, he eventually just becomes a badass that just starts mowing through people and no one can stop him. And you lose that, like, element of him not wanting to be the hero. Although one would assume that he still has to be, because, you can't escape that reality. Like, him getting reborn in the house that, like, of like, knights, and, like, people that respect the sword, he's probably, even though he doesn't want that, like, it's probably going to be very difficult for him to escape that reality. So, yeah, that's the Lazy Swordmaster, I should say. And I'll keep reading it, but I don't know. I'm a little, like, meh about it. And now let's talk about some anime. You heard me right, anime. I got 2 shows to talk about. Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie and Trapped in a Dating Sim, The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs. As I body complete this kit. Oops, I'm putting this on backwards. Uh-oh. It's got to go this way. Almost put this on. Almost put the back on the front. How embarrassing. We're pretty much body completing this, and then we just got to work on weapons and then we'll be good to go. Oh yeah, I could build the gun hand on this. C8 and C9. Yeah, I could put the gun hand there. Instead of this hand, I'll just take this off. Boop. Pop that away. But yeah, we are body complete on this. And then we can build some weapons. Got to get a couple different guns and, of course, a shield. But we can at the very least get the gun together here. Okay, so Shikimori's Not a Cutie. Last episode, they were talking about what they were going to do for their break after exams. Exams are over, and now it's time to party. And they went to they just took a day trip to the river, because, like, they originally wanted to go to the beach, but, like, our dude Izumi definitely can't handle the beach. His bad luck is not great. And in fact, when they get to the river, they're basically like, we're legitimately surprised it's not raining, because he brings a lot of rain for outdoor stuff. But apparently he made a lot of those Terra Bozos, those little things that kids make out of tissues and put in the window to keep the rain away. He made a bunch of them, apparently. This is very cute. So let's see. They get to the river. It's time to eat. Turns out Izumi really good at prepping food. He's learned from his mom. He worked with a knife and not worried at all about him, which is surprising, but that's the thing he's good at. Also, his girlfriend, Shikimori, who is kick-ass and, like, great at everything, turns out her one weakness, very bad at food. She makes some sort of, like, shrimp dish, and it's awful. and even when she tries it, she's like, nope, this is bad. But Izumi eats more of it because she made it, and he wants to be, he wants her to feel good about it because he made it, she made it for him because he's a good little boy. He's boyfriend material. Anyway, they're just very cute about that and very flirty in a way that is fun. They're just like a nice little flirty couple. So yeah, we got more of that. Some good food. The friends are good and fun. And then it's time to go to the river. And they're all ready to go. There was a whole thing last episode about a bathing suit, and so she's nervous about him seeing the bathing suit that he got, or that she got, and everybody's getting ready to go and play and have fun, except there are other people there, which is fine, but there's a little kid in an inner tube, and the current from the river takes her away from everybody. And our dude jumps in the water to go help her, even though he's not a great swimmer, and manages to calm her down and get her to the edge and have her climb up some rocks. And then he gets a cramp in his leg immediately because he is accident prone. So even though he did a cool thing, he's now like, oh, fuck. And luckily he gets saved by Shikimori. Shikimori saves and is just like, why didn't you call for help? And he was just like, I wanted to, he's like, sorry. And it's a good moment between the two of them. And everyone's just freaked out. Shikimori gets a little jealous because this young girl kisses him on the cheek as a thank you. And they're like, hey, that's just a kid. Don't be freaked out. Don't be jealous of this kid. But anyway, it works out. He compliments her bathing suit. And then they get gelato, and there's a whole indirect kiss thing that gets interrupted by the dude, and it's very fun and cute, and everyone has a good time. And then they all take the train back, and everyone's tired, and there's more cute stuff where she falls asleep with her head on his shoulder, and then he falls asleep, and his head goes on the best friend's shoulder, and then she wakes up and she moves his head to be on her shoulder, and it's just oh, this couple is so cute and so sweet. It's such a lovely little show. I'm happy that the friend group kind of came together because of them being in a relationship. That's how all of them kind of became friends, but they're all nice, and nobody's jealous of it or angry that they're a couple. And it's just very sweet and cute. Shikimori's Not a Cutie is one of the best shows this season. It is such a good romantic comedy. Highly recommend it if you're looking for that kind of thing. And then a very different kind of show, but I gotta watch my isekais. I'm watching 2 isekai this season, which is the least amount of isekai I've watched in a very long time. I'm gonna double check that fact because I don't know if am I only watching 2 right now? Trapped in a Dating Sim. I'm Quitting Heroing is technically... I'm Quitting Heroing could be an isekai because it is a very different world, but he didn't travel to a different world. He's just lived until the world changed. So that's questionable. Greatest Demon Lord is a reincarnation. And yeah, Skeleton Knight, because I stopped watching I just kind of got over the one on High Dive, the Executioner in a Way of Life. I was just So yeah, so 2, you could argue I'm Quitting Heroing is an isekai because he is from a modern, a future version of our world, but the current world he's in is not that. So maybe you could consider that an isekai. But again, he didn't travel to a different world. He just lived so long that the world changed around him. So it's a little different. But anyway, Trapped in a Dating Sim. The last episode was definitely the end of the first arc. And you could argue could have been the season finale. And they could have just made it be just 5 episodes. Because now we're back in school. And we're past the point of a lot of the story. Let's see. This one is setting up the next chapter. The end of this episode sets up the next thing that everyone's going to be worried about, which is basically there is of course a school festival. Gotta have a school festival. Our main dude, Leon, is still hated by a lot of people. One, because he humiliated the prince so much that the prince had to get disowned, basically. And two, he, in the process of insulting all these people, he also, everyone bet against him, because why wouldn't they? And he won a lot of money. So he's hated. Even though he has his friends, he's got Angelica, who is the girl that was perceived to be the villainess of the video game. And then also the girl who should be the main character, but isn't the main character because there's Marie is the new main character. Because she is really his sister from reality, but he doesn't recognize that yet. Somehow he doesn't recognize that, even though they obviously look different, but whatever. He still hasn't figured that out, that the girl, he kind of has an idea that maybe she's also been isekai, but he doesn't recognize that is his real life sister. Real world sister, I should say. All right, we're done with this bazooka. So we can put the rare shoulder mounted bazooka. We can get that going in here. I gotta put this on, where does it go? It goes on that, okay, yeah. So anyway, they're trying to run it. People are being real assholes about it. The former prince and his crew of other main romanceable characters, who all have been disowned, they're still hanging out with Marie, even though he's supposed to not. The Jewel was just like, hey, you got to stay away from her. But anyway, he doesn't. He's still doing that. They're still trying to make life tough for our guy. Let's just hold this. Still got the shield here, but I want to have this bazooka in the hand. So let's figure out how we get this bazooka on. I guess I'll just do that. Yeah, that works. Just do it oh, nope. Sorry, this kit, most of these kits don't come with the bazooka, so I'm not used to having it be on there. Oh yeah, it goes like that. Okay, cool. Got it. Bazooka. And now all we have to do is build the shield and then the stand, and then put on some stickers. So we're almost done with this. Anyway, the queen shows up and she has a relationship with Angelica. She also really wants to meet Leon and talk to Leon because she is grateful in some ways, but also very mad at how he handled himself, which is understandable because he did humiliate her son, even if her son was in the wrong. And then somebody's trying to make his life miserable, and Leon is fucking psyched because the queen is undercover, and this teenage girl, insults the queen, which is the only justification Leon needs for kicking the ass of all of this girl's attendants, because now he is defending the honor of the queen and goes overboard, and everyone's just like, no, dude, no, she didn't want you to do this. It would have been fine. Why are you doing this? Because he really wanted to, because he hates everybody in there. She acknowledges that the school is weird. She came from a different country, so she's not part of this whole thing. And then at the very end, a girl that showed up earlier comes back named Clara, and she's just like, hey, my lord, please assist my people, please save us. To which he's like, what does that mean? What do you need me to do? What are you talking about? Which I think was pretty interesting, because yeah, this might be something from the video game, but it might just be new shit that he's dealing with. So now we're setting up what will be, I assume, the rest of the season's quest. Its big story is helping out this person or not, or whatever, or finding out. And then also dealing with the two girls that are happy to be with him. And then, one thing I do enjoy is he's just like, I need to find a wife because this is a female-dominated society. So I got to find myself a wife. But not these two girls because they couldn't love me because I'm a mob character. Which is nah, dude, I think at least one of these would be happy One of these girls will be happy to marry you. If not both of them, I think you're going to be okay. But whatever. Because he is a scumbag with a heart of gold, which I also like. I like that it's not just like, well, I'm going to be the best version of me. He's just like, nah, people are treating me rotten, and I'm going to fuck around, with them, because now I have power. So that's that. We are almost done with this kit. We are going to, even if I go late tonight, folks, we're going to wrap this up, because there's not much left to do with this. We're going to put the shield on the back, a thing I rarely do, because usually I have an aside, but because there's the bazooka here, I want to have the bazooka. I am Chihuahua Pugs. Hi, I'm not watching Birdie Wing. Even if it is hyper, like a hyper version of it, I find myself rarely interested in sports anime. Even if it is like over the top nonsense, like Birdie Watch appears to be, that's just not my style. It's just not my scene. So I've heard good things, but I'm just like I'm just not super like interested in it right now. But yeah, I do know at least one person that I am, let's see, choose a hole that aren't using the base arm with that. Okay, so we can do in the center or we can do in the back. We're going to do in the center of this, right? Yeah, because we were like that. Yeah, we'll do the center. But that's all the anime that I've been watching to talk about today. I want to know from y'all, what are you watching? What are you enjoying? What's got you going? You watching anything in anime wise? You watching any TV? You watching any YouTube stuff? Did you record the like US version of Eurovision that started tonight that I know nothing about except that people are going to be watching it, but it's produced by the same, people that put on Eurovision, but it's America focused. I think it's America Song Contest or something like that. I forget the name. It's not a good name. But yeah, let me know if you're watching anything, if you're engaging in anything, because I do like to hear from y'all. Playing any video games. We are just a few nights away from finishing Yu Yu Hakusho, says John. Hi, John. And looking forward to playing some Makai Kingdom on Switch. Yeah, that's a re-release of an older game, right? I don't particularly know anything about it, except that I had a few friends who were very happy to hear that was coming out. It is a reissue from Mercury. Okay, so we got to do some stickers here. We've got a couple to go on here, and one to go on this. And we're going to do this one first, because we are body complete on our kit here. After the stream, I will go in and panel line the shield, the inside of the shield, since it's on display. But right now, I'm just going to put this like that. Says hobby table setup mostly so I can start model building in. Hell yeah, get back in the game. Excited for you. Welcome back to it. And then Lord Crashington says, I got higher end mower and lawn mowing simulator that changes the game. 0 turn radius, fast, and can do fancy stripes too. Hell yeah. Enjoy those fancy stripes. And John says, it's a re-release of a PS2 game. It's a Disgaea precursor. I've always struggled with Disgaea. Disgaea precursor. Okay, so let's get our big sticker out here. That's going to go on the stand in the front. And they say, apply sticker 3 to the edge of the display base. So I'm going to find sticker 3 here. All right. Be very careful with these stickers, because we only get kind of one shot at this. So it's a big sticker. And the idea is that I'm going to be lining up like this, because it has an edge to it, with like this here. Sorry, I got very quiet about that because I didn't want to screw this up. And I didn't. Okay. So now we have our Tokyo 2020 stand. our labeled stand. And now we are going to do 2 stickers here. We're going to do the a sticker on the shoulder here, and then a sticker across the chest. I'm going to take it off the stand now to do that. I'm excited for a 3rd season. I think you should leave on Netflix. Yeah. I do enjoy that show. All right, so this sticker is going to go on the shoulder here. So we're going to do that next. And then we will do the sticker that goes on the chest. And then the nice thing is these are bigger stickers, so it's just like cover the whole area. And there we go. Now I could spray this, which I don't have the spray for it right now, but it should be fine just to kind of get it on there. And then the Tokyo 2020 will go across the chest. And we will do that, and then we will be done with this kit. Yeah, I don't have anything I'm like super excited about other than just the anime that's coming out right now. I don't have anything like, oh yeah, and then this TV show comes out. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of paying attention to the Owen Hart tournament in AEW. I'm excited about that. That's kind of the only other thing that I'm super into right now. Looking forward to as far as wrestling goes. I guess the Forbidden Door pay-per-view will be good, but I'm not super hyped for it one way or the other. Okay, so I'm going to try to set this. Yeah. All right. That's kind of hard to read. It's kind of not too noticeable, the Tokyo that it says right here. But you can see in these stickers look pretty good. That Tokyo one does not look as great as the other ones, but whatever. All right, since we have some time, I am going to panel line the back of the shield since you will be seeing the back of it. Since I am displaying the back of it. Was this made for the original start date? Yes. This was released in 2021, but it does say 2020 because the games will retroactively be considered a 2020 games, even if they didn't happen in 2020. So yes. But I believe these didn't come out until 2021. We got to see Doctor Strange. It's very much a Raimi movie. Yeah, I've heard that. I will not see that for a very long time, probably, because I'm not going to go to the movie theater, most likely. That's just my particular taste on it. Just don't have any real interest in going to the movie theater now. All right, I'm not going to do all these parts in here. I'm just going to hit some of them, just some of the bigger things to give it a little definition, because we're only going to see like the side of it anyway. But I'll just hit a little bit with the pen here. It's our gray marker, just to get a little bit of color on either side, because it'll make it pop a little bit better since there is so many panels on here. A fill pen would be great for this, but I don't have a fill pen, so I'm just using this. You pre-ordered your first model kit. John doing first pre-order. Nice. The Macross Plus one that comes out in July. Oh, very cool. John, that's neat. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Pre-orders slipping is a tried and true model kit builder's dilemma, so enjoy that. Every once in a while you go and look and you find out that the God Gundam now isn't coming out until when's it coming out now? They pushed the God Gundam to August instead of May or whatever. It's just like part of it. Like I know that I've got 2 pre-orders. I have 3 pre-orders this month from USA Gundam Store. Will I get any of them before like the first week in June? Probably not. But whatever. I've started to see people with the new Gundam, like people that get stuff early, so I wish I'd get that at some point. I keep my fingers crossed it comes out in 2022. Yeah. I've got the new Gundam, the Raider Gundam Full Mechanics, and the Asmodee High Grade. And I believe 2 of those I've seen people review. So that means they've like gone into production. It's just, have they showed up at USA Gundam Store or not? I don't know. And then from Gundam Planet, I have the parts separator pre-ordered and the God Gundam real grade. I have a bunch of stuff from Premium Bandai. 2 different heavy arms, the Shenlong, and then Oh yeah, Gundam Planet or USA Gundam Store. I have the Gundam Age 2 Dark Hound. Just that's third quarter, so I don't know. They don't know when they're getting that, except they think they are. So who's buying the new Neon Zeong on that P Bandai spring sale? I mean, probably not me. I don't think I'll be doing that. I do like my Zeong, but yeah, I don't expect to make that purchase. All right, let's get that together. And this is our kit. I think this thing turns out great. I think this looks rad. I love having the bazooka. You don't always get that in the RX-78-2. I like this stand a lot, even though I think that this part of the stand isn't my favorite. Because I don't like... It's not as flexible, or it's more flexible than I would like, I should say. I don't love that part of the stand, but I do like the... the wide, clear base. I think the wide, clear base is pretty cool. You could also do it back there if you wanted to, but we'll do it in the middle. I think the middle is fine. Because with another kit, it might be nicer to do that. So let's get it on there. There. I'll take some photos. Oh, it's a joke. It's like $400, the size of a small human. Yes, I knew the Neo Zeon was big. I didn't know it was $400 big. But yeah, oh, also, I do want to just say, because I have you here, what is Gunpla? Plastic model kits featuring the Gundam series, which can be enjoyed by removing parts from the runners, parentheses, frames, in order, and putting them together. The colors of the parts are already separated and can be easily assembled. They offer exciting experiences that can also be enjoyed by creating poses and displaying your finished product. That is the explanation, in case people were like, well, I buy anything related to the Olympics, or in this case, the Paralympics, so I guess I'll buy this Gundam stuff. What's up? And then looking at it and going, oh, I have to assemble it, but I don't need, glue? Okay. I do like that explanation. I think it is fun. And there's a bunch of stuff in here about, hey, do this, don't do this. Hey, you should do it like this. Everything's cool. But I do really like that. What is a Gunpla? I think that's neat. Pretty okay kit. This is a 2015 kit. They didn't do a bad job with it then. So, yeah. Pretty neat. Yes, that Neo Zeong is cheaper than a real child. All right, well, I'm going to take a photo of this right now because we got a little time. And again, I'll talk to you about, because we won't get started tonight because we finished this. I didn't know if we were going to finish this tonight or if we were going to finish it on Thursday. I'm glad I did my Patreon poll yesterday, so now I know what to build next. But yeah, the next thing we'll be building is the Black Rider kit, which I have here. The Black Rider kit, it came out in 2021, I want to say, is the release. It might be 22. Actually, I do believe this is a 22 kit. Let me double check here. This is a 22 kit. So yeah, this is a 2022 kit. It is based on the White Rider, which is the first ever premium Bandai kit that was exclusive, like a from the ground up, not a remake of something else, not a different version. It was like its own thing from this video game, which I have to look up the name of because I can't remember. Operation something or other. All the other riders are versions of the Pale Rider. These are the Horses of the Apocalypse, basically. So I have the Black Rider and the White Rider, and we're starting with the Black Rider, which just looks fucking cool as hell. And I love the color scheme so much. So that is the next thing we're working on. We got some good black. We got some gray here. And we got a really nice red. And, of course, because it is a premium kit, and based on another thing, most of this red is, unfortunately, a whole lot of stickers. Look at all these fucking stickers. Just basically the only real red is a couple pieces of plastic. And the rest is all these fucking stickers. Because of course it is. Because it's like a custom version of it. So the color correction has to be done via stickers. It's going to be a lot of stickers. Any part that's red just about is going to be a sticker. It's fine. I knew this was coming. Anyway, that's gonna do it for the stream. We are gonna raid because that's how we end every stream around here. Is we go on a raid. We try to support somebody in the community that we think is awesome. So please stick around for that. Hey, can I promote? I'm gonna promote Wednesday's stream. It's gonna be weird. I'm just gonna drag this photo in here. Uh, Pokemon Smash or Pass is what we're gonna be doing on Wednesday. Um, I got this Pokemon website thing. Somebody made a. It's like Pokemon whatever. I'm gonna look up the address here. It's Pokemon-Smash-or-Pass.com. And we're going to go in chronological order, numerical order, from number 1. And we could go from Bulbasaur all the way to Anoritherian, number 905. But we probably won't get all the way to 905. Which I guess it says 1,123, but so there must be because see, here's the thing: there are 3 Charizard. There's Charizard. There's 4 Charizard. There's Charizard, Mega Y, Mega X, and Gigantamax. Got Gigantamax. So that's why there's 900 and something Pokemon, but like 1,100 varieties. So almost looks like a graphic for people that are attracted to Pokemon. I mean, yeah. Yeah, swipe left to that Pokemon. So we're doing Smash or Pass on Wednesday. Is it a good idea? I don't know. Am I doing it? Yes. So that's what's going to happen. I'm not too good to do it. I want to do, yeah. I want to do more weird Wednesdays. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I want to start doing some weird Wednesdays. This is gonna be a weird It's gonna be a very weird Wednesday. It's gonna be one of the weirdest Wednesdays. So come along on that on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Pokemon Smash or Pass. Why am I doing this? I don't know, but I am. So it's gonna get weird. Right now, we're gonna raid. As I said, I'm gonna find somebody who's playing something, and we're gonna go hang out with them. Won't be this because I'm gonna follow that. It's not gonna be that. Sorry, that was just somebody that I'm like, nope, not doing it. Let's see, who are we gonna go hang out with? Oh, that's kind of fun. We're gonna go raid Mary Kish because Mary Kish is playing Trek to Yomi. Mary Kish rules. Her community is rad, and Mary's kind of our Monday raider because she often is streaming on Mondays when we're done. So we kind of often raid. She's got anime hair. She does have anime hair. She's looking fucking great right now. Here's the thing. Always looking great. I say that because we are friends in real life. I would not type that into a chat, but I will say Mary's hair right now is fucking great, and she's great all the time. So we're gonna go raid Mary because she rules. So feel free to come along on this raid. It's kind of our Monday thing is to go hang out with her. But yeah, we're gonna go see what's going on. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Hope you come on this raid. Hope you come back on Wednesday for Pokemon Smash or Pass. And I will see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.